Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're breaking down our picks for the top five and one worst, level 5, Artificer Spells. Woohoo!
There are some excellent ones here. And then there's the bottom four. Um,
How many total are we looking at?
7. I
All
have a
right,
hunch we're going to touch about every single one of them.
let's see. I
By default, we're talking about 6.
wonder. All right, I know. I I'm confident that we'll have three of the same in the top five, probably four. Ah, yeah. Anything goes for the worst, though.
Sure. For what it's worth, at this point, you've tried and fought all the way to the highest of tiers. And while you are technically getting your capstone spells, so are wizards, and theirs are way better than yours. And it's not close. Like, you're looking
Because
at,
they got these a long time ago.
oh yeah, they've been playing with your best 8 levels ago, right? They got 9th level access to your best of the best spells. A lot of them are really good too, so they'd be like a wizard's bread and butter ability. They're gonna be like, oh hey, I got this cool thing, I'm gonna use it. And you're gonna be like, hey, 17th level game is around. I can now do what this guy's been doing since we've been playing like 6 months ago. It's not gonna be very exciting, basically agnostic of what you get. And that's just because the caster divide is like, the upper tiered play fundamentally is skewed to be way in favor of full casters, and that's just life sucks, I guess. Sorry, you played a half caster.
Well, a lot of these are. I've been okay with most of these artificer leveled spells. They've got a lot of decent utility, which it doesn't matter that like if I'm getting a damaging spell that is not as flashy as a wizard's damaging spell at the same character level. Um, I'm still doing useful stuff with this.
I think the most useful spell here technically is not my best, and just because it lets the wizard cheese harder. It's like that's the best of the options you actually get here. Probably are just making the unfair things that other characters are doing a lot better. Like I agree with you, 3rd level and lower, that you get enough cool little utility things that you don't feel that bad about it. I do think at this stage of the game you're gonna really feel, if you have any full casters in the party, that you're just not playing the same game anymore.
Yeah. Um. All right. Well, there's the half caster caveat, and the other one we say with all these Sam picks is in order. I do not. I just pick five. All right. You wanna kick things off?
Sure, I'm gonna go with my number 5. And I don't know if it's right, but I'm gonna say skill empowerment is my 5th best.
Okay, that did not make my list.
That's bizarre because that means I know what did, and that's unfortunate. I knew we were talking about L7 the moment one of my bottom 2 wasn't going to be yours. So yeah, this little spell will get you touch somebody, they get expertise in the skill, and at this tier that is like a +6. So a 5th level slot gives someone a +6 and something. All of a sudden, your fighter or barbarian who's raging is getting like rogue numbers to their athletics checks. They can start grappling dragons, and that's kind of cool. There aren't a lot of ways to get this otherwise, and while it's certainly not worth like a 9th level spell slot, I don't even think it's worth a 5th level spell slot. It is better than the other 2 remaining spells on the options list. So
I did consider it. And yeah, my last pick, I could have swapped it out for skill empowerment very easily. I picked 4 that I liked, and then I got to pick another one, and it wasn't my worst. So
excellent. What one is one of the
well, no, I'm gonna go with my better picks first. I
Okay,
chose animate objects.
that's my number 1.
Yeah,
It's nuts. It's really good, especially at 9th level when you're supposed to get it.
yeah.
You just pick a bunch of tiny objects, throw them in the air, and they start stabbing things, and that's going to do a truckload of damage. You're going to almost always feel good about it. At this tier, things though have a really easy access to like massive area of effect damages that just go, okay, well I don't even need to knock your concentration off. They'll just incidentally die to part of my breath weapon, to part of this giant mind explosion, to any number of other little things. Still, if you get 2 or 3 rounds out of this, it does a truckload of damage, and it's going to be alongside your extra attacking stuff on most of the classes. So I think you're going to feel pretty reasonable picking this up and being like, this is a new tool I'm willing to concentrate on and get some value out of.
Yeah, 99% of the time you're using it as a damage spell, but when you need it, it also has utility purposes. If you can, I want that armoire to move over there, block the door or something, or yeah, that's all I can think of right now.
Meanwhile, the wizard goes, what if we just like went to a different realm of existence? That's a better solution than staying locked in here behind an armoire.
Sam, when I come up with these are not the end all be all examples of what's possible.
My point is that I think that a lot of the utility of the spell doesn't matter anymore because there are so far grander options that solve problems way better and faster and way grander than this, right? Animal
Yeah,
shapes is going to do a lot of weird things. This is nowhere close to animal shapes. That's only an 8th level spell.
yeah,
Like
you're
the
probably right
utility
there.
that this offers is going to feel a lot worse, I think, at this tier.
Yeah, but it's there.
It is there. It is technically attached to the spell. Maybe you're by yourself and really need to move an armoire.
your, your wife just thinks it doesn't look right there.
So you animate it and have it walk across the room for you. Beautiful.
That's a lot easier than trying to push it.
True, I guess. You could skill empowerment yourself to have it be baller at athletics. That'd be kind of neat.
Take all the drawers out. No,
Yeah, it is a pain in the
no,
butt. You're
thank
not
you.
wrong. We're just
All
hearing
right.
that Bob really hates armoires.
I
My number
I hate
2,
moving.
that's fair. My number 2 is Bigsby's Hand, or Arcane Hand, as it has
Yeah.
been known in the SRG or whatever. This is a great little spell.
Yep, that made my list as well. A lot of fun. It's got different ways to use it. You can just like block someone, or you can punch them, or
You
you
can
can
grab them.
grapple. Yeah, it's
You
yeah,
can squeeze. You can chuck them.
that's fun.
This spell does so many little things, and when they all start to come together, you're going to be like, oh, this is so cool. My issue with it, of course, is that the wizard 100% wanted to pick this up at 9th level. So, like, if there's going to be a spell that you're like, oh, my wizard's definitely been doing this since level 9, if it's not animate object, it's going to be this one. And you're going to be like, oh, I got it now too.
Yeah,
Still,
but
it's a great spell.
it's fun.
It's powerful. It's useful. Its damage is way worse this tier, but hey, it's still better than not having it, I guess.
Yeah, this isn't one I like as much for the damage. I like it for just keeping enemies at bay and annoying them or throwing
Yeah.
them.
I love all the little things that this spell does.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
All right. Well, my next pick is, of course, Wall of Stone.
I was really, really considering not putting it on my top 5 list just to mess with you, but yeah, it's my number 3.
Yeah, well, I know I said I don't put these in order, but in the order I wrote them in, which is the order that, yeah, if I was ordering them, I would have put them in. We had the first 3 matching: Animate Objects, Arcane Hand, and Wall of Stone. Wall of Stone, of course, I love for its permanence. Just there didn't used to be a big slab of stone in the world, and now there is. I love that. And I think we've talked about, we did a video on Wall of Stone, and I think my favorite use of it might be
Playing a different
casting.
game.
No. I'm casting it on the deck of a ship and
Oh,
weighing it down.
there are some really cute fringe uses of spells like this for that method. I think that's pretty fun. If we're dealing with those kinds of problems once again at this tier, I'm like, oh, what's a stone wall gonna do over a invincible or prismatic version of this wall? At the same time, like Wall of Force or Prismatic Wall, I still think it's neat. I think the permanence is fun. I think there's a lot of world building implications that come along with it. And if I'm just going to look at what a top tier artificer should do, I would guess they would be responsible for building some of the most magnificent structures and stuff. And this feels like it goes right alongside that. In practical adventuring, how much are you going to want a giant wall? Not that often at this tier, I don't think, but it's probably still a reasonable consideration. It's a lot worse that takes concentration because it doesn't go with the other 2 spells that we talked about earlier. But, if you can hold it there, if you can hold your concentration for 10 minutes and they can't find you on the boat before it sinks, okay. You did something kind of neat that a fireball probably could have, but don't worry about it.
But a fireball would do a completely different thing.
It would sink the ship, isn't the goal?
Well, no, it would burn it down. I don't know if the ship's big enough, it might not even sink it. It's like instead, it just really, really hinders everyone on board. And I'm picturing all these crewmen trying in vain to lift this wall and throw it off the ship, and it paints a fun picture for me.
Agreed. The wall is only 6 inches thick. That's
Yeah,
pretty small.
but it's stone.
Yeah, sure. It's just I was envisioning Great Wall of China. I was on like big, chunky 5-foot squares at least, and it is not that. It is like a
No.
little monolith, which
Yeah.
ruins my fantasy of it a little bit. I rate this lower now because it's so thin, but yeah, still it's fine. It's better than it is definitely third. Every spell we're talking about other than that is definitely worse than Wall of Stone as far as utility goes. I will much rather put this on my sheet. I probably put this on my sheet honestly over the other two just because I've seen what those two do a lot. I want to mess around with this thing. I don't want to mess around with it at 17th level. I want to mess around with it at 9th level, but no.
All right, what else you got?
My last pick. And this is, I actually think, probably for the scope of the game that you're playing in, likely the best option, and it's Greater Restoration.
Oh, that did not make my list either.
Are we about to talk about? Okay. I'm concerned. So the reason Greater Restoration matters is it can remove levels of exhaustion, so you can do dumb things with Wish. It's a way to reuse really busted effects and items and get around weird curses and crap that will matter at this stage of the game. And you'll end up feeling like a battery pack for your wizard, but that's kind of as good as you can get at this tier. So like, okay, this is a real option that solves top-end problems that you might care about. And thus, it's probably worth considering taking over the other ones, just because like it engages with the system on a different axis that matters more in that tier than it did at 9th level. Like Greater Restoration is better at level 17 than it is at level 9.
All right, yeah. It's one of those things where you'll be glad you have it when you need it, but I don't know. I never get that excited about it.
I have a question.
Yes.
There are only 7 spells.
Yes.
Where does Create Spelljamming Helm fit on your list?
Well, we'll get there, but we won't get there yet. All right, one of my other picks was, and I don't feel like you should be shocked by this, but I guess you will be. Transmute Rock.
Oh, there's 8. I forgot about Transmute Rock. I'm sorry. I was so shocked because I thought you by like approximate elimination, Create Spelljamming Helm had to be on your top 5. My bad. No, but Transmute Rock, yeah, this spell's utter trash.
You know. All right, what do you hate so much about it?
It's at best difficult terrain, requires it to be rocky, and that ain't it.
You can, I mean, it's got 2 modes. You can turn mud into rock.
How often at level 17 is mud a predominant issue for you?
It could be if you transmuted the rock to mud first.
So you caused this problem yourself.
Yes.
And the wizard flew over you 45 minutes ago, and you're just stumbling around the garden trying to clean up your mess. Is that what's happening here?
Well, no, you do this. You turn it into mud while your enemies are there. You bog them down. Then you turn it back into stone, and their feet are held in place. That's fun.
First level spells can do that, Bob.
Yeah,
Entangle can do that.
Or you cast it on the ceiling. Big old pile of mud falls down. And
4 whole DA bludgeoning damage.
Yeah. That's
It's not the worst. You're not picking my worst. But God, does this spell suck?
All right. I don't know.
This spell
Maybe
could be a 3rd level spell, and I'd be like, ew. It's a 5th level spell. Like, do you
I
take
think there's
Fireball over
fun
this?
to be had. No.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll give you this. I would take this over Greater Restoration for what it's worth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't defend it too much more than that. I just think it could be fun to use. But yeah,
I agree.
I really have to remember that we're gonna hit this at 17th level.
Sure are.
Yeah.
That Star Dragon's gonna not give a flying shit that you just turned somewhere on Earth into rock. The Mind Flayer is not a Lloyd ship. Yeah, that has no matter that matters on it. So okay.
All right, now for the Mind Flayer, I think I think there's fun to be had there because this is not the way he is used to being addressed. Like a big goopy pile of mud falling on him. It's a little humiliating, you know?
Is it? You only took 48 damage, and then he's gonna eat your brain.
Yes, but he's
Maybe.
insulted
Oh,
first.
I figured it out.
His
This
clothes
makes
are
you
dirty.
look dumb enough that he doesn't think your brain is worth eating.
Ah, I made a similar joke to that in one of my recent vicious mockery videos.
Excellent.
Nice. All right, you're finished with your list, right?
Mhm.
All right. Well, I guess there's only my one spell left, and I picked. And this is the one I wasn't sure about. Now I'm less sure about Transmute Rock now, but I wasn't sure about Creation. This is
Ah,
like going back to the fabricate things. I think this may be useful for a creative player in some situations. I can't think of any of those situations. But
I always come back around to the problem, right, where not only does it have a minute cast time, so this
mm,
isn't something you can improvise with well, right? This is something that you can't use on the fly. You
yeah,
have to plan to use this. It is easily replaced by mundane methods, right? There are regular items and objects that will fill the 5-foot cube and do better or as well as this ever really can. I think it's hilarious that you could technically use this to create adamantine or mithril armor, and it can't be donned before it doesn't exist. Like, this is the kind of thing where, yeah, you can technically make something. If you want it to last at all, it's got to be stone or veggie. And then if it's made of stone or veggie, how is this not something that you could just like pick up off the rocks or just make over an hour, right? You're a 70
mm,
level artificer. I'd expect you to be able to physically produce things that are as equivalent to a mundane object just by being a good craftsman. You're not making magical things here. You're not going to like be able to do any magical spell effects. This is a mundane replication tool at 5th level that you're getting at 17th level.
yeah, I get it. And this is an unenthusiastic pick from me. It was the limitations of the list.
Yeah,
Probably
that's
should
fair.
have
I
picked Creator
definitely might give you
Restoration
that.
instead. Um, but yeah, this is just like we've talked about recently with Fabricate. People like it. People find creative ways to use it, and I'm sure the same is true for Creation. I'm just I'm not coming up with any.
I
I'll
really
probably never
struggle to see
take
much
this.
value in either of
Yeah,
these effects still. I've heard the arguments and I'm just like, I don't see how this is better than every magical effect of this tier. I don't see how this is giving me better resources than even like some basic illusions can.
yeah.
And I think that they're all way over cost. I think the action, like resource time to use them is like it makes them so even circumstantially when you want to have a cool idea, you have to have like planned ahead to a degree that you have a minute to do this thing. I don't know.
And
There's
I
so many hoops
don't.
to jump through for a bad effect.
And for Fabricate, whatever you create is there to stay.
Yeah.
This, even the stone or veggie, that's temporary.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, not my greatest pick.
But it does
Uh,
exist and does something,
yeah.
which is more
Oh,
than I think we can say for our worst.
oh, is it your worst too?
There's only one left. We've talked about the rest of them.
I know, but I mean, Creation could have been your worst. I don't know.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I'm glad we did get to talk about all of them because there's not a whole lot to
Yeah.
say about Create Spell Jamming Helm, which is our worst. Which is just like you're supposed to just buy this. This doesn't even have a cool method of building it. It's just like give us $5,000 and then you make it. You could just buy one for
that,
5.
that's called buying it.
Yeah,
That's
right. Like it is a profoundly stupid spell to exist that just inflates a book that has already a huge lack of content.
look, if you're going out spell jamming, it's because your DM is allowing you to. They will provide a means for you to spell jam, and like let it be a quest, or go out and buy it, whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
probably a quest. That's more fun.
I
Not
just
this. This like is the worst part of each option. All right, there's buying it. That's boring.
Mhm.
There's a quest that's I forgot where I was going with this, but this is like a perfect storm of suck. Like you don't want to this you don't want to. Oh,
You're flabbergasted.
yes,
It
I
is the
mean
kind of thing where if
when I
you wanted,
when I put a spell, when I invest in learning a spell, it's something I'm going to want to use more than once. There's never ever a reason to have to cast this more than once, unless you're opening your spell jamming helm store.
what I think is even funnier is that artificers get this at 17th level, right? So wizards get it at 9th level whenever you're like, maybe you're going to start Spelljammer. If you're now just starting to do spell jamming at 17th level, nope. That just means DM, we don't want to see to the end of this campaign. We'd rather go play in a different setting. At that point, just start a new campaign.
Oh,
It like with something like Magic Circle, I think this is actually kind of similar to that conceptually, where it's an event, right? It's supposed to be a task that creates a cool defining object. With Magic Circle, you're like consulting and capturing demons and angels and things. With Spelljamming Helm, you're creating your home, your future ship to go through space and stuff. Magic Circle is like a really in-depth magical procedure. There's a lot that goes into it. There's circles being drawn. You have different two-way gates and stuff. You have to get the thing in there. There's a procedure around it. This literally is you buy a rod, touch a chair. That's it. That's the entire spell. It's not a spell. It's stupid.
oh my God! Create spell jamming helm.
I didn't think we would get this heated over that, but I'm glad we did.
We didn't get this heated in the video we did specifically on it.
Yeah, that sounds right. It's really dumb though.
Yeah, it is. Just we've had more time to let it fester in our minds.
Moral of the story after all this is one, Spelljamming Helm, don't take that spell. But two, it is really hard to be a half caster level 17. And these spells are kind of testament to that, where even some of the really good ones are like, wow, that's still 8 levels after I would expect to get it.
Finally, I can make my walls.
Yeah, the bulk of what artificers are doing at this point are making like better items. And that's kind of what you do. So, and you give your casters things that hold items. And then you're hoping that you get to use all of the cool magic items that you find because you're a magic item master and can attune to more things and crap like that, right? But
yeah,
that's not.
All right.
These are not the reason to go top end artificer.
All right. Well, that was that's it for artificers. We are all the way through the artificer spells now. Tune in next week to see what we'll be doing next. I don't even know.
There are only so many left.
Yep.
We've
all
done
right.
Wizard.
Well,
we've done Ranger. We've done Warlock. We've done Paladin.
Have we done Warlock?
I don't think we've done Warlock.
All right. We've done Bard.
We've done Bard. That's the other one we've done.
Have we done Druid? I think we did Druid. No?
Maybe.
I don't know.
We did Ranger, I don't know. They're similar-ish. We definitely did Druids. We talked about animal shapes. We had to have.
Yeah.
We talked about Storm of Vengeance.
I'll go back and
We'll
look
see.
before we decide.
Commoners will be exciting, I promise.
Yeah. More exciting than this part of this video.
Disagree.
All right. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Let us know your picks down in the comments and what you thought of our picks. We'll like, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.